Hey, Frank. That low-pressure area is moving in faster than we expected.
Oh, yeah. That should give us plenty of time, even with that new fellow,
Randall? Why, he's worse than Hendricks.
Hello? Ringing now. Right.
Razor. Oh, Frank, how's it going? Good. Yeah, I'll be in the office in about an hour. Be there all day. I'll talk to you later. Bye. They've done the flare-off on schedule.
Oh, when will you know how it looks?
Oh, later today, probably. After that, I shall either be the company's blue-eyed boy or forget it.
Sorry. What?
I told the company to drill that hole. Me personally, no one else.
There's oil there, Jim. Now you know that.
But whether it's enough to justify commercial exploitation is another question. If not, we put the lid back on the hole and the company have spent £2 million for nothing. Mr. Rupert Atkins wouldn't like that. Or me.
Oh.
Anything wrong?
Well, I've just got a bit of a headache, that's all.
Oh. There's some tablets somewhere. Do you want one?
No, I'll be all right after breakfast.
Oh, 2 eggs for me.
All right.
Let's go take a look.
Oh, it's too soon yet.
We might get some idea.
What, from Randall?
Hello, Randall. Well, what do you think?
Road conditions aren't stable yet. We'll run 3 tests at different rates. It's going to take quite some time.
Thank you very much indeed. Angus, it's supposed to be a big secret, but they're carrying out a flare-off test on Nelson 1 today. Angus?
I heard you.
Well, are we interested?
If there's oil out there in commercial quantities, it'll mean a production platform, perhaps several. More oil ashore at Gordon Bay, more chance of ancillary petrochemical industries being developed on-site right on our front doorstep. Aye, we need to know, all right. Will your Donald Cameron say anything?
I just don't know.
Huh.
I'd be really stretching his friendship, Angus.
Fine, stretch it.
Well, can I promise him we'll put an embargo on anything he tells me?
Until when? Triumph Hall press release? Should we get to know the whole truth from a handout written by Elaine Smythe? No, no, no. Whatever they find out there, they'll play down. They always do.
All right.
Oh, Shona, don't come back to the office this afternoon.
Fine. Any reason?
Mrs. Douglas is calling in. She asked if she could speak to me in private.
Right. I'll keep away.
Can
Can I just put this out of sight?
She knows my weakness.
What does she want?
I don't know. I thought she had something on her mind when she called in the other day.
Well, it is her newspaper, after all.
But she never interferes. Now, strange why she should insist on seeing me alone.
Remember me? Ron Denny. We met at a party when I was here before.
Oh, yes. I remember you, Mr. Denny.
Captain or Ron. I answer to either. We never did manage that dinner date, did we?
Oh, Donald! Just a minute. Excuse me, Captain.
Of course. Donald?
Captain Denny?
Can I talk to you for a minute?
Oh, no, Shona. Sorry. I'm due to a meeting.
Well, when? It's important.
Lunchtime. King's Hotel, 1 o'clock.
Right. See you then.
Yes, he is good, but he'll take his time. Now, listen, Frank, you can't hurry Randall. Well, read a good book, that's what I suggest. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye. Well, May not be today. Probably tomorrow morning.
Perhaps you should read a good book.
It's like waiting for a doctor's verdict. You want to know, even if it's bad news.
I've been thinking of going back to London.
Since when?
Oh, I'll probably go when the tests are finished.
Oh, I thought you were going to stay up here for a while.
Well, work's piling up at head office. I've had my assistant on the phone twice already this morning. He doesn't really know what he's doing.
Sack him.
He only needs someone to hold his hand.
You still got that headache?
No, it's gone now.
Oh. Yeah, so what's changed?
Mr. Atkins for you.
I've got a job to do. That's all, just like you.
Yeah, well, I'd better talk to him then. Good morning. Rupert, yeah. No, it's far too early to tell yet. No, they haven't established a stable rate of flow. Oh, yes. I'll call you as soon as I know. Mm-hmm. Goodbye. If Mr. Atkins calls again, tell him I'm out and you can't find me. I'll talk to him when I'm ready. Understood?
Right, Mr. Fraser. Mrs. Ward is here. She'd like to see you, if possible.
Oh, yes, of course. Show her in. Hello, Julie.
Am I disturbing you?
No, not
Sure.
a bit. Oh, excuse me. Fraser? Oh, Donald. Yeah. Now, we'll be receiving a coded message on your radio link, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Donald, I got Sandra with me. Where are you? Okay, bye. This from the rig. When they know what the rate of flow is, they send it in code.
Oh, yeah.
There's too many listening ears on our wavelength. We don't want the competition to know how good the potential is or, conceivably, how bad it is.
Mr. Fraser, the exploration manager is on the line about the next drilling location for Nelson 1.
Look, you are very busy. Can I go? Let me go.
Stay where you are. Look, I'll talk to him later. Just give me a few minutes peace and quiet, will you? Take messages.
Very well, Mr. Fraser.
Oh.
You are a busy man, aren't you?
Oh, no. No, we're just all hanging around, trying to look as if we were busy. The real work's being done out in the rig. No, there's nothing here that can't wait.
Did I hear something about the next drilling location for Nelson 1?
Yeah, well, we're always planning future drilling.
Where? Can you tell me?
Oh, possibly a block further east, or the Shetlands, possibly in the Baltic.
Labrador, Africa, or Malaysia? Where?
Well, we do operate worldwide, but we wouldn't want to move a rig that far unless we had to.
Frank's decided to look for a job here in Scotland, possibly on shore.
Oh, yeah. He mentioned that.
He's had one or two offers, but not quite what he was hoping for. Have you offered him a job?
Oh, no. Frank isn't employed by Triumph Oil, but by Nelson Drilling.
Yes, but you employ Nelson Drilling now. Come on.
Yes, well, I've told him the truth. We're happy. We like what he's done. And so, if in future he happens to be looking for a job and he wants to fill in some time, well, won't be any problem.
Feel like some lunch. How we doing?
I'm doing all right, Mr. Ward. The conditions aren't steady enough. Not quite stable yet.
Not quite stable yet. He's a precise little man dealing with the kind of data that will blow my mind wide open.
That's his job.
Yeah, well, Frank, let him get on with it. Come and have a T-bone steak and you'll feel better.
There's only one thing that'll make me feel better right now.
You mean,
Yeah, that's what I mean. And a large one.
Oh, look, Shona, now I really have to go.
Oh, Donald.
Well, I told you I couldn't stay long.
Well, I'm not asking much.
I'm trying to make allowances for your ignorance.
Ignorance?
Yes.
Well, at least help me get the background right. I mean, what exactly is the purpose of a flare-off test?
To find out how much oil is there.
Well, how?
Okay. Now, look. They have drilled down to the oil-bearing sand.
How deep?
Oh, anything between 8 and 12,000 feet below the seabed. Now, down there is under enormous pressure. They allow the oil, which is mixed with gas, to rise up a section of the drill pipe. They then separate the oil from the gas, pass the oil through a flow tank, and then measure the rate of flow. After that, the oil's burnt off with the gas.
Why do they burn it off?
Where do you think they're going to store it? In their helmets? In effect, it's a mini oil well, under controlled conditions. Then, by extrapolation from the figures they get, that's POL, it's a kind of mathematical forecast. From that, they can tell what the yield from this field will be.
When can I know what the yield is? Now, I'm only asking you something so that the Gazette can be first.
That information's confidential.
Well, to whom?
The people it belongs to.
Oh, it's too important for that, Donald. It's a matter of public concern.
Public? You mean Angus Gallagher wants to frighten everybody with stories about massive industrial developments?
I think the people who live here have a right to know whether that oil field's a big one or not.
They will, when Triumph Oil release it.
The date to be decided in London.
Right.
It's the people of Scotland whose lives are being changed.
Right, Shona. For the better.
Oh, Donald. I think you're a little bit fond of me, and I wouldn't ask you this favour if I wasn't quite fond of you, too.
You know, Shona, you have one distinction. You're the most unscrupulous female I've ever met. You set out to use me right from the beginning, and I've had enough. I'll be used, no more. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off.
Excuse me, have you got a light? Yes, I see you. Cigarettes are always bought. Thank you.
Sir Norman Denison.
Yes. Miss Campbell, isn't it? Of the Gazette.
Yes, that's right. I've been hoping to speak to you. You see, we've interviewed most of the important people up here concerned with oil, but not you as yet.
I'm sorry, but after a medicinal brandy and soda, I have a meeting. In any case,
perhaps later, when would be convenient for you?
Never, Miss Campbell. I'm a public servant. The only phrase which springs readily to my lips when confronted by the press is no comment.
Well, I'd be quite happy to talk off the record.
Possibly, but I wouldn't. I believe the public relations officer of Triumph Oil is here in Muirport. I'm sure she could tell you anything I could.
Which is nothing. Quite.
Sorry.
Can I join you?
What happens if I say no?
I disappear in a puff of smoke.
No.
After a decent interval. You haven't asked me.
What?
About the activities on board Nelson 1.
Do you know anything?
No. Actually, I was out there this morning fitting a flare pipe for them.
By helicopter?
When the sea's too rough or they want it fitted in a hurry, that's how it's done.
I didn't know that.
Oh, the seeds of an article, perhaps, on choppers. Being entertained to a lavish lunch and a bottle of good wine by the lady from the press.
Wrong.
Oh, well, never mind. Let me take you.
Really, I'm not hungry.
Well, at least let me buy you a drink.
I wish our resident genius would get a move on.
I thought you said you weren't worried.
Latest weather forecast.
Show Hurndall.
Well, you know what he'll say.
Yeah, but show him.
Oh, all right, Frank. Hey, you know what? This may be the last one of these we'll get for a while.
Why?
No, I'm only joking. There's a Met boy broken loose.
Oh, yeah, the warning to the ship. I heard it on the radio.
Please, sir, can we have our boy back? I know. Right. Frank thought you should know. We'll have to close down earlier than we thought. There's not all that much margin for delay.
Mr. Ward wants an accurate assessment. You can help me by not troubling me with factors which I can do nothing about.
Will you tell him that, please?
Yeah, sure. Pity. I thought you might surprise him.
Huh?
Forget it.
In you go. I'll drop you at your office.
Oh, no, hang on. Angus is seeing the proprietor this afternoon and he doesn't want me around.
Right. Let's decide where to go.
Aren't you flying?
No, free as air. Come tomorrow.
Oh, how nice.
Now, there we are then. I sent out for some of your favourite biscuits.
Thank you.
Hey, no sugar for me. I'm trying to lose some weight.
Since when have you taken sugar in your whiskey, Angus? You never drink tea at tea time.
Perhaps on reflection. Well, how are you? Are you feeling any better?
A little, yes, thank you.
Good, that's fine. Slange. You know, you've been trying altogether too hard these last months.
I had no choice.
I told you that factor that's supposed to be managing your estate was a rogue.
I know.
Still, now you finally got rid of him.
My son's taking over for me.
I heard. Well, that's as it should be. You'll be all right now.
Tom has different ideas, of course.
Well, he's a businessman, naturally. He'll want to make improvements.
Aye.
You've a grand estate there, Mrs. Douglas, and by the time Tom's finished... I expect you'll be thinking of pedigree cattle. And there's all that fine woodland, a lot of valuable timber there.
All the suggestions you've made over the years, Angus, yes.
I've always been good at telling other people what they should do. But you'll see some changes now, you can be sure of that.
I want you to know, Angus, that I've been proud of the way this newspaper's developed since you were the editor.
Oh, it's kind of you to say that, Mrs. Douglas, and I appreciate it. The real battle's still to be fought, of course, but we've made a start. And come to that, you're the perfect newspaper owner. You give the editor a free hand and you don't intervene.
I've never wished to or felt the need to, but...
Until today, maybe?
This is a sad day, Angus, and I'm sorry. We've run this newspaper on a shoestring, but even so, costs have risen so much.
Circulation's improving all the time. Even the oil men buy our paper now. They want to know what we're up to.
It doesn't really pay its way, Angus.
I see. It'll have to in that case. I don't want the paper to be a burden on you.
No, I'm trying to tell you that...
Look, I'll trim the cost somehow. I'll cut a few corners here and there. I can't do without Shona Cabell, but maybe I could take on the typesetting myself.
Angus, I'm going to sell the Muirport Gazette.
Sell it?
I've had an offer that I intend to accept. In many ways, this is more your newspaper than mine, and I felt it only right that I should tell you in person.
Were you in the RAF?
Years ago, yes. Short service commission. I was a proper pilot in those days.
How do you mean?
I flew fighters, planes with fixed wings. That was before I took to hanging in the air underneath a spinning rotor.
Well, what brought that about?
One of those defense cuts that governments go in for. When they need more money to build roads or pay out more on social security. My squadron was disbanded, and I converted to helicopters.
We better start walking back.
You got time for a cigarette?
Well, yes, I suppose so. I don't know. Thanks. I don't know whether Angus expects me back or not, but I better look in just in case.
So it's really Tom's decision.
He says there's not sufficient return from the newspaper and that the capital would be better employed in the estate.
Capital? This paper's a living heart and soul for the people of Muirport. Isn't that capital?
Angus, listen to me. It's not as bad as you seem to think.
When the town council takes important decisions in private behind locked doors, who's going to tell them what they're doing if we don't? Who'll counter the oil company's propaganda?
I know you need a paper to carry on your crusade, but that's...
It isn't a crusade, Mrs. Douglas. Look, it's pure common sense. Now, they're building a £100 million power station in Muirport. £100 million for a town of 14,000 people. Why? To feed electricity into the grid, as they claim. Do they think we're all idiots? The oil pipeline comes ashore at Gordon Bay. At the moment, it's to be piped 100 miles further south, but for how long? Now, shall I tell you what those facts add up to me? An oil refinery here in Muirport at the end of the pipeline. And a huge generating station fueled by oil to power more and more industry. In a nutshell, the development of a gigantic petrochemical complex that'll engulf this town and destroy everything we love and hold dear for good. But nobody will admit it. And there's nobody telling the people what's going to happen to them. Development, yes. I can't stop that now. But it must be planned openly with the consent of the people and not imposed on them in secret, deviously, in the name of bureaucracy and profit. Mrs. Douglas, Muirport needs its little local newspaper. Now, I appeal to you. Whatever Tom says, it's up to you to decide, not him.
Angus, I feel quite well in myself, but, well, I saw my doctor when I was in Edinburgh a few weeks ago, and he says otherwise. He's arranging for me to see a specialist. I should like a few more years, if it's possible, but they don't know yet.
Oh, God, forgive me. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I didn't... You know, you should have told me.
No, I've had a good life and not too many regrets, but, you see, I must hand over to Tom completely. I begged him to keep the paper as it is. I knew how you'd feel. But you're right, he doesn't understand. As you said, he's a businessman. There's nothing I can do, Angus.
What about you? Local girl, well-to-do farming stock, university degree in sociology.
How did you know?
I used a crib. I asked somebody.
Do you always cheat?
Invariably. How did you get trapped on the Muirport Gazette?
It's not a trap. It's my big chance. I've always wanted to go into journalism. I was studying shorthand and typing when Angus Gallagher's only reporter left. He took me on. I'm very lucky.
What next? Fleet Street, the big city?
No. I'm working for a paper I can believe in and for a man I believe in. It's unique. A completely independent newspaper run by an editor who's free to say exactly what he thinks.
You'll keep your job, Angus. They've promised that.
The new owners, who are they to be? You haven't told me yet.
The Jensen Group.
Oh, no, not them.
They run a very successful chain of local newspapers.
I said run a very successful chain of supermarkets with policy imposed by head office.
You'd stay in Muirport, which is where you want to be, and you'd not lose your position. You'd still be editor.
Mrs. Douglas, the Jensen Group is owned by a parent company which is a major partner in an oil consortium with a block near the Norwegian sector. And not only that, it owns Scott's Rig Services. Now, would they allow me as editor to print the truth as I see it about oil and what it's doing to us? Oh, no. No, I'd be no more than a paid hack to keep my job. Maybe I could raise the money somehow. Match their offer. What is it? Are you able to tell me?
£80,000. I'd sell to you with pleasure, Angus.
80? Oh, that's impossible.
I did hear that you received your share of the proceeds when your sister's small holding was sold.
I put it all into the Muirport Preservation Fighting Fund.
Aye, you would. That's like you. I'm sorry, Angus. If it were
No,
up
look,
to
you
me,
mustn't concern yourself any more. It's out of your hands. And if you're sure Tom won't change his mind.
Well, I'll speak to him again, but...
Aye. No, it's his duty to put the estate first, I can see that. But is there no possibility of giving me just a little time?
Well, Mr. Jansen's abroad till the end of the month, so there'll be nothing settled till then.
Well, maybe I'll think of something, some suggestion I can put to you. Anyway, thank you for telling me yourself. And now you must put it all out of your mind and concentrate on getting well and forget all my selfish worries. Here you are. Now, you come on and just take my arm and I'll see you downstairs.
Thank you, Angus. This time I will. Thank you. And what then?
Look, I'll give the matter some thought.
You'll not find the answer in taking the whisky bottle for a walk, Angus.
What's happened, Randall?
We have a problem. I better speak to Mr. Ward.
He's not there. Apparently he just walked out of the office without a word.
He'll have gone home.
No, he's gone walkabout.
Come what?
Whenever there's something Angus can't cope with, he walks. 10 or 12 miles, he just walks.
What do you do on these occasions? Find him?
No, he hates that. Leave him alone. It's his way of working things out.
In that case, you're free. And by a happy chance, so am I.
An hour ago, I thought we were getting a definitive result.
Oh, great.
I wasn't satisfied. I checked. The flow had become unstable again.
Look, we don't need a result down to the last barrel, Randall.
It's probably formation damage.
Might could clear up in time.
I'll look at the logs, although it's doubtful that we're coning down gas.
Triumph Oil is expecting a result today.
Then they'll have to wait, Mr. Ward. I could give them a better indication by tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
When tomorrow?
I would estimate sometime between 0800 and 1300 hours.
Now listen, there's a weather system moving in on us.
I know that.
Randall, by 1800 hours tomorrow, we're going to be riding out a bad storm, even by North Sea standards. Right? 70-knot winds, heavy rain, 40-foot seas. We've got to start closing down before noon.
I can't influence or be responsible for external events.
Randall. Noon tomorrow. That's the deadline.
We shall be working all night. If it's humanly possible, certainly.
Man, you were getting a result before you discovered this fault. What is it?
You wouldn't like it, Mr. Ward.
So it'll be tomorrow now, Rupert. Oh, yes, as long as the weather holds. Touch wood. Well, I thought I'd better let you know. Of course, I'll call you as soon as I can. Yeah, bye, Rupert. Well, he's going to need a couple of pills before he gets any sleep tonight. And then I suppose he'll have nightmares about 2 million quid down the drain.
Suppose the weather became too bad before your tests were completed. How much further delay might there be?
Well, it depends how long it blows. It could be days, could be a week or more.
Your license expires in 9 days. You could lose the concession, you know.
I know that, Sir Norman. I don't need any reminders. Thank you.
I am essentially on your side, Mr. Fraser. The British government was very anxious that exploration of this block should take place. We all want to find oil, you know.
Yeah, with one big difference. My company's paying the drilling costs of the government.
Come, the rewards to your company will be substantial.
Only if there's enough oil there. We don't know that yet.
Right. The weather forecast is lousy. I may be stuck out here for a day or two.
Oh, well, look, in that case, a day or two. I thought I might go and look at some of those houses. No, I could stay in a hotel. Well, I don't know which one, but Elaine says she can come up with something. But, if you could come with me, I could put it off.
No, don't do that. Listen, we don't know when the storm's going to let up, and I have a few loose ends I have to tie up with Jim. We may have to fly into London for 2 or 3 days. So, you go ahead and look at the houses and take a break at the same time. Yeah? That's a good idea.
Okay.
Of course. I was a proper pilot then. Flew fighters.
In my day, I remember we used to refer to fighter pilots as the Brill Cream Boys. They were always shooting a line, as I recall.
Sounds as though you were in the army.
Yes, intelligence.
Well, I was in the RAF. All the wartime people were getting on a bit. There they were, senior officers with paunches and bald patches. They'd flown their Spitfires in the Battle of Britain before I was born. Difficult to imagine those old fellows as the Brill Cream boys.
Well, if you'll excuse me.
Well, have another one. It's
no,
quite
thank
right.
you. I may see you later.
Same again,
Yeah.
please, Dan. All right. One for yourself, huh? Funny old stick.
Yeah.
What sort of planes did you fly in the Air Force?
Before I converted to copters, hunters. I suppose I have the doubtful distinction of being one of the last fighter pilots to have popped off at tribesmen in anger. Thank you, my darling. Cheers.
Cheers.
They were rebels, or freedom fighters. Depends who was shooting at who. Their HQ was a remote village. At least that's what intelligence told us. They fired at us with rifles, and we pumped cannon shells into their so-called arms dump. Burnt like a grain store, as far as I could see.
It sounds like one of the lesser engagements of all time to me.
Well, they did fight back in quite subtle and effective ways. I was in an open-air cinema one night in town, peacefully watching a Marilyn Monroe movie, when some hand grenades came sailing over the wall. The place was packed with servicemen. That was pretty hairy. Blood and gore all over the shop. Fellow next to me took the full blast of the nearest grenade. Service funeral for him, poor devil. I was lucky. A few fragments in the leg, and that was it.
You've been working out of Sunborough recently, haven't you?
Yeah, back here for good now, then. I prefer Muirport to the Shetlands. More interesting social life. Ah, Oscar, excuse me. See you around. Hello.
Hello. I'd rather not have a drink here. If you don't mind.
Well, eat first and take it from there.
What do you think of Ron Denny?
He's not exactly my favourite person.
No, nor mine.
Still, he's good at his job. Bit flash, I suppose. Maybe it's because he always manages to sound self-deprecating, and, you know.
But in reality, he's bragging. I know. Always trying to make an impression. I wonder how he'd cope if he was really under pressure.
It's hard to tell how anyone's going to behave under those sort of circumstances.
I think he'd look out for number one. His sort always do.
There. It's a good hotel. Convenient for Aberdeen. It's beautiful surroundings. It's on a lock. It's very quiet.
It's lovely. It's just what I'm looking for, thank you.
I put a hold on a double room in case
No. Frank won't be joining me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I naturally assumed
It's okay. I'll tell them when I confirm, but thank you anyway.
Oh, it's no trouble. I hope you find a house that suits you.
Well, it's going to be fun looking, but whether we actually ever settle down here or not, I don't know.
But Frank's seriously considering one offer, isn't he?
Hmm. To please me, but it's a number 2 job. He's better than that. I'm not going to ask him to change to that extent.
Ah, well, I don't think people do change. You either buy the package or you don't.
Well, certainly, but that cuts both ways, doesn't it? I mean, why is it always the woman that's expected to adjust and give way? Hello.
Oh, hello.
Girls, can I buy you a drink?
Oh, we're fine, thanks.
All right, I'll wait till you're finished.
Darling, could I see you later? This is sort of a hen party.
Oh, I see. Well, I'll be with Sir Norman.
Thanks.
He wants Nelson 1 complete with Frank, doesn't he?
Oh, Jim likes his own way about most things.
Yes, he's already very politely pointed out that I'm in no different a position to thousands of other women.
Oh, well, now, that's the male point of view. You're supposed to count your blessings.
I do. I do.
Another drink?
No, thank you.
You know, in your place, I think I'd settle for what I could get. Your only competition is the oil rigs. I think I could cope with that.
Jim Fraser wants you on the blower. Frank, after this, go to bed, eh?
Yeah? Yes. So what is the latest forecast? Oh, I wish they'd make their minds up how fast that front is moving in. No, you can't blame them. They've lost a Met boy. No, I know. I know you can't work miracles, Frank. Yeah. Well, let me know as soon as you can. Good luck. Bye. Oh. All that talent, all that money, all that experience goes into a job like this. And then a silly thing like a downhole valve can wreck the whole operation.
Well, there's nothing you can do.
Oh, if only I could. If only I could be out there.
Instead of here.
No, I just meant to being on the spot with something to do, that's all.
I know what you mean.
All right, darling. Let's have it out in the open. What's happened?
Nothing. Just what usually happens. I got what I wanted, and now I'm not sure if I want it.
Meaning?
Do I have to explain?
You walked into that door of your own accord. Nobody dragged you. So if you want to move on, you just turn the handle and go.
I don't want to stand up fight.
Thanks.
You know, I made up my mind about you when you still saw me as part of head office furniture. And we were at a meeting, and you were telling Rupert Atkins his fortune, which he doesn't usually hear. And I looked at you and I thought, that's the one.
The next one.
You lived like a monk since your wife died? Well, what seemed like a good idea was then in the future. That's turned into the present, and now I don't see any future.
What do you want? Promises?
Oh, no. Promises were made when I was married, and when it came to divorce, they didn't seem to count for much. Oh, Jim. It would be very easy to go on as we're going, but let's face it, I'm not going to come to anything, so don't let's get too involved.
All right. Now, you're the one who's not satisfied. What am I supposed to do?
Oh, nothing. Look, I'm just going to walk away before it all means too much. See, I'm not like Julie. I've got a job that I like, and I'll keep on doing it. I don't need a particular man, or any man, come to that. I can do without.
You never exactly behaved as though that's what you wanted.
No. But you've got too many problems attached to you, Jim. A wife who died, and you're still in love with her, and a daughter who's a living image of her. Look, I can't cope with all that.
So what happens now? You go?
It might be best if I did.
You're wrong about some things, Elaine. I do hold things up here, as you must do, but You're not competing with anybody.
No? Separate compartments?
Yeah. Past, present.
Gee, it would be nice to be able to believe that.
Well, I think I do. I've never had to think about it before, but... Well, if you do go, I'll be sorry. I do know that.
Perhaps he's still walking.
Angus?
Oh, Shona. How do
Evening,
you do, huh?
Oh, but this is Captain Denny.
Good evening to you. Forgive me if I don't get up.
Angus?
Shona, I've lost the paper. Mrs. Douglas has decided to sell it.
Angus, I'm sorry.
Oh, don't you worry. They'll keep you on. Me, too, if I do as I'm told and use their syndicated editorials. That's all I have to do. Print things I don't believe in. Publish lies.
Morning.
Is there any news from Nelson 1?
No.
I'm not asking for confidential information.
Talk to Elaine Smythe.
All right.
Where were you last night?
What?
I phoned your house. Late. I wanted to talk to you, but you weren't there. Again, early this morning.
Why?
I was worried about you.
You were spying on me.
I asked you a question.
Where I was is none of your business.
Denny. Is that it? Ron Denny. A red bar and a Muirport.
If you only knew how ridiculous you are.
I've a good mind to ram his teeth down his boasting throat.
Well, let me know if you decide to try. I'll tell the hospital to have a bed ready for you.
Frank, you can see for yourself those seas are above marginal. We've got to shut in, circulate out, and then pull her. Because time's run out.
Okay. That's fine with me, gentlemen. I'll finish. I estimate 7,455 barrels per day.
You sure it's not 7,456?
If I'd thought that, I'd have said so.
Congratulations, Frank. You brought in a good one.
We all brought it in. Code this and send it to Mr. James Casper Fraser, Esquire, Toot Suite. All right?
Yes!
We did it!
Just in time. All born in the vestry.
7,455 barrels a day. Oh, Randall is not only pedantic, he's a born pessimist. Now, using his own data, we shall get at least 9,000 barrels a day.
Is that stock tank barrel?
Oh, you are learning fast, Sir Norman.
Well, I am right, am I not? That's the important figure. The amount of usable high-quality oil that can be stored.
Yes, you're quite right. Yep.
Mr. Atkins is on the line for you now.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good morning, Rupert. Yes, we've got it. 9,000 barrels a day minimum. Oh, yes, that's stock tank barrel. Yeah, well, I'm glad we did manage to do it in the end. Yeah, I'll send the coded data by telex. I will indeed. Bye. I'm to give his congratulations to Frank Ward.
And mine to you, Mr. Fraser.
3 months to do it in. Possible, but only just. And we've done it. And when this comes on full flow, it could be producing between 150 and 200,000 barrels a day. Now, how's that for an injection of adrenaline?
I feel I should be dipping into my pocket and buying large drinks all round.
Well, the men who really deserve it are out on that rig. And they've got a storm to ride out before they can do any drinking.
Afternoon, Flower. Real beauty blowing up.
So I believe.
No flying for me today, thank goodness. Which is just as well. I didn't get much sleep last night.
So what's next, Jack?
Another rig, another hull. How about you?
Well, Jim Fraser's got a couple of things lined up.
Well, if you want a tool pusher, Murray's the name.
Oil's the game. No, Julie wants me to take an office job, you know. Shopping at lunchtime, home in the evenings, all that.
Well, you know, wives are like. Now they want you around all the time. Or they couldn't care less where you are, as long as that monthly paycheck comes in.
You must get a lot of yours.
Hey, this desk job. Have you got anything in mind?
Yeah, a couple possibilities, yeah.
Well, I couldn't stand it myself. This is my world, out here.
Yeah?
I mean, do you fancy it? The secretary, coffee at 11, name on the door.
Not much, no.
Do you know what I miss the most?
What?
This. I mean, forget that wind out there. I mean, it's nice and warm and comfortable in here. And it's all over. I mean, they'll tow a 175,000-ton platform out here, and it'll sit over the well and pump oil ashore. But we proved oil was there. All of us. I like that feeling.
Yeah. I like that feeling too, Jack. Well, it's your deal.
Right. All right, Frank, you owe me $2 million.
Wrong. 2.5.
Oh, right.
What was that?
Something under the rig.
In this weather, it could batter the rig to pieces unless we can move it.